And when that script landed in my lap, similarly to when Doc landed in my lap, you know, I read Doc and I felt like I would kill to be part of this. And somehow life and my experience and my work and the sort of sum total of things, I'm ready for this. This is the right thing for me now. And I felt that way with Party 5. And I hadn't felt that way before. I was still a kid, you know, and I mean, an older kid. They were casting people a lot older at that time. So, but I was, you know, I read it and I thought I'd kill to be part of it, and I'm ready to play this character. I could feel the depth of it and what it was going to require, and in success, what it might. There was just also no way to know what it was going to be. You know, we were like the little show that barely squeaked into pilot, barely squeaked into a pickup. Was the best show you're not watching, you know, on TV Guide, which, you know, got us on the cover of TV Guide, but it was basically because we were like king of the losers. You know, it was like we were endangered. And so what I can say is I was so grateful for the opportunity. I could feel how special the character was, how special that family was, that we had the potential, and that it felt like we were making something that could really matter to people. And I had never been lucky enough to be part of anything like that. And so we were aching day in and week out for that thing to make it and just have a chance to keep going. And so because of that, all of our focus was really on the work. You know, it really was just on how can we pour ourselves into this thing and give it all we have, because if we do get canceled next Wednesday, you know, none of us want to think we could have done more. And so the whirlwind that hit us was all kind of, you know, it was extracurricular, you know, it wasn't the main point of any of it. You know, what I can say is there was one moment where Matthew and I went to New York City, and they had us do this kind of publicity event. And it was like for 17 magazine, and you know, there were like roller skaters and a very young usher was the musical act, who we were like, who's this guy? And Matthew and I were like standing in the wings. Now, we go to New York being told like no one's watching the show and we could get canceled any week, and they introduce us, and it was like our Beatlemania moment. It was bananas. And we went out on stage, and the scream, the collective scream of like 1,500 15, 16, 17-year-olds was unlike anything we'd ever experienced, and so shocking. And they tore at our clothes, and it was, I mean, it was the real deal. And we walked off stage, and we were like, what? Who's that? And it turned out there were people watching and caring already, even though, you know, our 13 or 14 million viewers back in 1994 was like seen as, you know, you're on the blocks.